Vikings will put it in play on their own 28-yard line, 1st and 10. Waddy is wide right. Harold Jackson wide left. McCutcheon is the deep man out of the eye. And it is first man, Capoletti. And he is just shy of the 35-yard line with Matt Blair making the tackle.
Mike Blair, of course, going to the Pro Bowl this year. What they're working on, though, is what a lot of teams do when they play Minnesota, running straight out of Alan Page. As you know, he's very quick, not very strong or heavy, but he makes it up for it in quickness. Teams like to run at him.
Well, it'll be 2nd and 4 from the Ram 34-yard line. A pickup at 6, slot left with Waddy inside Jackson. Back split, and we'll see if Hayden puts it up. It'll be McCutcheon. And McCutcheon has a first down to the 45, to midfield, to the 40-yard line. And out of bounds, he is finally brought down at the last minute by Alan Page.
As you mentioned, Alan Page, good in pursuit, good speed in the whole deal. Good blocking on the outside. Greg Horton throwing a nice block. McCutcheon, the rest of it just his. The second leading back this year in National Football Conference in rushing. Good range by Alan Page. Everybody has success running against the Vikings, or more success than passing. They give up about 160 yards per game.
And McCutcheon has had 6 100-yard games this year. So they have reached Viking territory to the Viking 39-yard line. 1st and 10, and again it's a slot left. It's the second man, McCutcheon, and he's inside the 35-yard line. Somehow Blair and Page team up to bring him down.
As we look at Alan Page, he's in an over-shifted alignment there, head on the center. As you see Rich Saul trying to block him, kind of neutralizing him for a little bit. Double teaming Allen right there. There he is, Alan Page. Vikings know they have to stop the Rams' running game because they will run and run and run until you stop them.
2nd and 3 from the Viking 33-yard line. Just the start of the ball game. John Capoletti trying to find a block. Nowhere to go. Rick Saul had pulled to lead the way, but he couldn't make much of a cut in that swamp. Let's take a look at the Vikings, who will have their nose in the mud right now, with Eller, Sutherland, Page, and Marshall up front. Behind them, Blair, Seaman, and McNeil. At the corners, Nate Wright, Bobby Bryant. And at safety, Jeff Wright and Paul Krause. So the Rams now with a 3rd and 3. The ball is placed on the Viking 32-yard line. And again, the backs are split. McCutcheon is a mass of mud already. And it'll be McCutcheon who'll get muddied again. And he gets just about to the 30, but he still has a ways to go. Jeff Seaman making the tackle. Well, the crowd this early in the ball game saying go for it. Coming in is tight end Charles Young along with Cullen Bryant, and that means they got the big honchos in there, and they're going to go for the first down. So Mullaney and Nate Allen come in, and Krause and Bryant go out along with Blair. Now Krause comes back in, but Blair goes out.
Surprises me a little bit, Ben. Chuck Knox plays it usually straight to the vest, plays percentages.
Well, perhaps a Temple, if they feel that they can run on Minnesota, let's see if they can do it. 4th and 1 from the 31. Hayden to McCutcheon, and he is belted. And from this angle, it would not appear he made it. Page and Mullaney teaming up.
Jeff Seaman, the middle linebacker, number 50. 6-year veteran and a good middle linebacker. Fills the hole nicely. He's got to know they're going to be running Alan Page or straight at him in short yardage situations.
And the Vikings held as the Rams disdain a field goal attempt, and the Vikings will take over 1st and 10. Rashad, White, and Voigt figure to handle the football from the hands of Bob Lee, with Miller and Foreman doing the running. Miller, of course, is in there for the injured Brent McClanahan. Rashad is wide left and White wide right. And Bob Lee, first play, gives to Foreman, and he runs into a crowd. We can take a look at the Rams defensively now. Jack Youngblood, along with Cody Jones, Larry Brooks, and the other end, Fred Dreyer. At linebacker, Jim Youngblood, Jack Reynolds, Isaiah Robertson. At the corners, Thomas and Jackson. At safety, Elmendorf, and the rookie, Nolan Cromwell, playing for Bill Simpson. 2nd and 8 from the 32. And Bob Lee going to the air. Fakes, then goes over the middle. No good. Elmendorf. And a flag on the play.
Robert Miller playing for the injured Brent Flanahan, who underwent surgery the other day on a bad knee. As you look at Bob Lee, more of a classic drop-back passer than Fran Tarkin, who played there before.
Just shy of the 23-yard line. Rashad to the left and White right. Robert Miller across the 25 and down at the 30-yard line. At the bottom, Isaiah Robertson along with Monty Jackson.
As we look at this again, mixing his plays up a little bit, you kind of look for him to go to the air that time. Bob Lee decided to go ahead and try Robert Miller and catch him in that outside rush. As you know, Freddie Dryer and Jack Youngblood do rush that passer, and they go to the outside to do it.
3rd and 10 from the Viking 30. The Rams, by the way, had 36 sacks this year. Last year, they had 45, so they slacked off a little bit. Bob Lee looking to release, goes down the left side, and it's complete to Ahmad Rashad for the first down to the 41-yard line. Rashad, who led the NFC with 51 passes this year, goes up in the air to make the first reception of the day.
Rashad gave a nice little inside move that time before he went outside. Working on Monty Jackson, and that's kind of surprising. Monty Jackson led the league in interceptions last year, had 5 this year, and they don't work too much on him.
So the Vikings first held the Rams on their own 32-yard line. Now turn around and pick up a first down on their own 42. Bob Lee giving to Foreman, who tried to cut, slipped, and he was easy prey for, among others, Fred Dryer. Friends, this telecast presented by authority of the National Football League all day. Rashad left and White right, so they haven't changed that formation at all. Lee going to try it again. Goes deep down the left side. Rashad makes a great catch. He beat Monty Jackson, and Nolan Cromwell, the free safety, had to come over and knock him out of bounds. Big play for Minnesota.
And the pressure was on, as you see, number 76, Cody Jones, giving a good rush there. Ed White trying to defend him, hooking him a little bit with the left arm. Jones getting there just a little bit late. There you see the pressure, and look at the catch by Rashad here. Both feet inbounds like that. He had a great game last week. He's got to come on strong.
10 Vikings on the Ram 31. Rashad is left and White is right. Foreman and Miller behind Bob Lee. And it'll be Bob Miller going around the outside, head on by Dave Elmendorf, who brought him down, and then the other Rams came along to make sure. Robert Miller playing another. 2nd and 7 from the 27. And Lee gonna throw wide to Bob Miller, and he's got him, and he's at the 20-yard line, and he'll pick up another first down. And Monty Jackson, and they're going after Monty, finally made the tackle.
Lee on a roll out there. You know, for some reason or other, Bob Lee does not want to throw the ball to Chuck Foreman. It's right surprising. In the 4 games he's been a starter for the Vikings, Foreman has only caught 1 pass, but he's not the least bit reluctant to go to Robert Miller. How you explain that, Ben Scully?
The only thing I can think of, too, is the Rams know he hasn't thrown to Foreman, so Grant might figure, okay, we'll keep going that way and just stay with Miller. Don't want to break up anything now at this late date. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line, and the Vikings started on their own 32. They have a drive underway. 2 fakes to one to Sammy White, and now the pass to Foreman at the 15-yard line, and he goes out of bounds at the 14. A lot of people wanted a shot at him, and the closest was Isaiah Robertson. They're bundled up, the pride of Sewickley, Pennsylvania, Mr. Chuck Knox, in his 5th NFC title. By the way, however, the Vikings are after him here in the opening minute with 7:11 to go in the first quarter. Foreman trying to angle through, but you just can't make that kind of a run. And standing on the sidelines, Alex, is one of the secondary stories of the game, Joe Namath.
And may not be before the game's over. If something should happen to Pat Hayden, don't be surprised if you see him in there. Cody Jones, Jack Reynolds fighting off the blocks. Isaiah Robinson right there. Reynolds has been a real boost for this Ram defense. In the 5 or 6 games he's played in since his holdout early in the year, they've won 5 of them since he returned to that middle linebacking spot.
3rd and 4 from the 14-yard line. Lee looking right and releasing to Robert Miller, and he fumbles the ball. It will be recovered by the Vikings. The Vikings recovered the ball on the 6-yard